Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hello, we have some warmth into Tuesday, then a wet period Tuesday night into Thursday with a slow-moving cold front bringing moderate to heavy rainfall and a cooling trend in temperatures. Precipitation, we look east where we should stay generally between a quarter and a half inch, but much of West Virginia will be seeing between a half inch and an inch. Localized amounts could surpass an inch, including Charleston, in part due to the potential for some excessive rainfall, a marginal risk for really the southern half of the state Wednesday and Wednesday night. So it's a slow-moving front. Tuesday morning, it's still well to our west, but by Wednesday morning, the cold front starts to arrive, and it'll sweep the state through the day on Wednesday. So today's earlier round of storms taper off by 7 p.m. Then this evening and overnight, we look north for any additional rumbles of thunder. Meanwhile, pretty quiet to start the day Tuesday, increasing clouds. By Tuesday evening and overnight, we see widespread showers and thunderstorms arriving ahead of that cold front. FlyStarW forecast, it starts at home. D.C. will see 85 on Tuesday, falling to 61 by Thursday. Meanwhile, Chicago, it's cooler on Tuesday, and Orlando, 95-degree heat by Thursday. Panhandle forecast, temperatures staying near 60, looking north overnight, then 74 to 78 here on Tuesday. Rather commonly seeing temperatures hover in the mid-50s, looking east toward Charlestown, but here we have a better chance of managing, say, 82, 83 degrees on Tuesday. Across the state, just a mild overnight period, 54 Elkins, 58 Sutton, then highs here in the mid-70s to near 80 on Tuesday, and ending looking south, the cooler pockets do dip below the 50-degree mark, like Lewisburg overnight, but still managing mid-70s in the warm spots near 80 on Tuesday. Wet, as mentioned, Tuesday night into Thursday, cooling through there, quiet Friday, additional rain possible Saturday.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
Five, three.
Red 57! Red 57! Hot, hot!
I don't believe what I just saw. Bill McKenzie hits a 38-yard field goal on the final play of the football game.
5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
It is a great night to be a Mountaineer wherever you may be.
From the home of the state's land-grant institution, inside the Health Plan Studios, in the Dale B. Miller Building in Morgantown, it's time for the state's most listened-to sports talk show. This is the CityNet Statewide Sportsline. CityNet, cybersecurity experts for the digital age. And now, across the state of West Virginia and beyond, Sportsline is on the air.
It is the Sportsline for Monday, new week of shows. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Kyle Wiggs, Greg Hunter, Brad Howe, all here. Good evening.
Hi, all. Good evening, guys.
Everyone's back, and we've got a lot to talk about. Big weekend for the Mountaineers. They sweep Kansas State and outscore them 29-7 in the process. So the offense was there, pitching very good as well. Chansen Cole threw a complete game in the middle game on Saturday. He's scheduled to join us on the sports line in just a bit. Chansen Cole, who, by the way, was named the Big 12 newcomer of the week.
You should say that again, that he threw a complete game. We don't say that very often anymore. Threw a complete game.
Yes.
Say it again.
Complete game victory for Chansen Cole on Saturday. So we'll catch up with him. The three guys group had a chance to visit with Gavin Kelly today.
Had a really good conversation with him. That's out right now wherever you get your podcasts. Videos up on YouTube or the MetroNews TV app. Yeah, so it's been a big baseball week here already. Gavin was great. Fun to talk to him about the versatility, the rare catcher second base combination and which one he likes more, and got into a bunch of stuff with Gavin. So, yeah, it was a fun conversation.
And big week last week, but even a bigger week coming up.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got your Charleston venture against Marshall.
There was a huge crowd. I mean, that always draws really, really well, but just a huge crowd, like 9,000 last year for that game. And the weather looks good, so hopefully they can take a run at that again.
Yeah, that's your midweek game, and then a big one coming up
huge.
at Kansas this weekend. You're 4 games back. You've got now 3 head-to-head with the team just above you in the standings. So Big 12 title on the line as West Virginia heads to Lawrence this weekend.
Text line open, 304 Talk 304. It was also a big weekend for basketball with 2 very significant commitments, players coming out of the transfer portal.
Yeah, first, before we dive into the 2, has basketball overtaken football in terms of news 12 months out of the year?
Yes.
We've now hit, because we've now got May portal additions, that's every month out of the year because we're going to start practice here come June 1st. It's literally 12 months that there has been basketball news now. Even football's had a few weeks off here where we haven't had any breaking news.
Yeah, a little bit of recruiting commits over the last couple weeks, but not as much. And you're right.
But those are high school guys.
Yeah.
These are guys that are going to be here in 3 weeks.
Yeah. No,
They're
you're
here
exactly
in
right.
3 weeks playing, and let's get into those 2.
Well, you think of the portal. I mean, your first 2 weeks are guys leaving. All right, that's the big news that comes out of that. Who's entered the portal, and then right away that flips around and it goes, all right, who's coming to you? And that's, Brad, been very significant. Certainly, there have been a lot of others, but these 2 latest ones are very significant.
Really
as
good,
well.
and this staff continues, I think, to have just an outstanding portal season. Some of the national folks agree with this, but let's dive into this a little bit because the 24 hours this weekend were really significant. Let's go chronologically. The first commit and now official signee, Seydou Traore, rolls in, and fans may remember him. He played for Utah most recently. He was at Iowa before that, Manhattan before that. But last year against when he played for Utah, here's what stands out to me. 6'6" guy, some have him listed even 6'7", long, rangy defender, has some bulk and strength to him as well. But the reason, when I heard West Virginia was hosting him and having him visit, the thing that I remember most vividly about him on the broadcast during the game against Utah, I pointed out I thought Traore did as good a job on Honor Huff as anybody had all year up to that point. And if you remember, he played Utah near the end of the season there. I thought he was a fantastic defender at that size, guarding Huff, and nobody stayed in front of Huff. Nobody was able to keep up with Huff running around. Traore did a pretty good job. He stuck with him most of that game, made life really difficult on him. It's a top 20% nationally guy in steal percentage, so he's very good on the defensive end getting steals. And here's a stat I haven't used very much, but I think it's impactful in this particular case. He's in the 94th percentile nationally when it comes to steal foul ratio. So we don't do that one very often, but he's as good as there was in the country at getting steals and not fouling. And if you want to know Ross Hodges' #1 maxim that he says more than anything else, guard without fouling. And I think they just got a guy that perimeter-wise can do that extremely well. And I think that's massively significant for this group that now has somebody that can drop down and guard a 6-foot guard, can guard a big guard, can go up and guard a wing. If somebody's 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", even into the 6'9s, Traore can take him. So you've got your perimeter defender right there in Seydou Traore. You pair him with Mo Silla on the back end, a 7-footer that's an elite shot blocker. This defense now is in pretty good shape here as it rebuilds this roster. So Seydou Traore is the first guy in. And oh, by the way, against West Virginia, he had 17
4 or 5
and 3 threes.
3 or 4?
3 threes.
Okay. 3
in
or
that
4
game.
from 3.
That's what I remember.
Yeah. Now that's not his
threes.
forte. He was a 33% free throw or 3-point shooter, which he'll take, but that's not his forte. That's a defender, but can score. The other thing to watch him on the offensive end, in my mind, you've got multiple guys now that can get up and down the floor a little bit. I think you'll see West Virginia's fast break become more of a thing led by Miles Sandler, but you've got every guy now on this roster can get up and down the floor pretty well, so I think they'll push it some. He's a great lob candidate, Traore. So you add him to Mo Silla, and you get Miles Sandler working through there, lobbing the ball up to these guys. I think you might have some offensive fireworks. But Traore, I think, is a really nice pickup and a guy that certainly knows the Big 12 and knows how to play at this level.
Not the only pickup of the weekend. And the other one, is a guy who had as much high school acclaim as anybody maybe in this class, and there's some other guys that came out of high school like Sadler, like Silla, that had huge accolades coming out, and certainly the other commit this weekend had big ones as well.
Joson Sanon arrives from most recently St. John's. Before that, he was at Arizona State. That's where we remember him, although he sat out the game against West Virginia when the Sun Devils were here in town. But I remember watching him during warmups. I said this on Three Guys Today. I vividly remember this one sitting on the bench with Darren DeVries before the game, and he's the one that pointed out to me. He looked over, he said, hey, I don't think he's playing tonight. He was only like half sweats, half not, but wasn't going through the full warmups. And we were talking about him. He said that's the top 20 national recruit there. He was actually a top 25 national recruit. 6'5", big body, strong. He was a guy that was expected to be a one and done. It was come in for 1 year at Arizona State, and then he was going to be on to the NBA. He didn't do that. He instead went to St. John's, where, frankly, his numbers fell off a little bit from what his freshman year was. But this is a supremely talented basketball player. Gives you a big guard that can go get his own shot. He's a really talented three-point shooter, 37% from three at Arizona State his freshman year. Really good, tough shot maker. Was one of the nation's leaders in points per possession in baskets made in the last 4 seconds of the shot clock, so he could finish late. Gets up and down the floor as well. You can clear out for him and let him go to work. But here's a number that jumped out to me. At Arizona State his freshman year, 56% from three on unguarded catch-and-shoot jump shots. That gives West Virginia two guys that were above 50% from three on unguarded catch-and-shoots added to Finley Bizjack. So again, you get Miles Sadler working on the perimeter, gets by the perimeter defense. They've got to worry about a lob to Mosilla or Traore, and you've got Bizjack and now Sanon sitting out on the wings, two guys that can really shoot it, especially when left open. I think this is a fantastic pickup here. And a guy that, if you think about where he and Silla both are, two guys that thought they were one and done, and they had to Silla from injury, and Sanon just needs a bounce back year. I think you get two highly motivated, supremely talented dudes to add into Miles Sadler. So think about that, guys. That's three top 25 national recruits that are now on this roster. That's unprecedented. I'm not sure that's ever happened in the history of this program, to have three top 25 guys at the same time. So I know the portal causes angst. I know it's a bummer to not see guys come back a second year, but this is the potential advantage. You can go have to get an entirely new roster, and where do you land? You land with three top 25 recruits. Add in Cena, who moved into, the top 50 today?
Yeah.
So that's another one that's on this list. That's a heck of a haul for Ross Hodge and staff this offseason.
Finley Bizjack, who's a top 70 transfer portal guy as well. And Joson was a guy, actually was committed at one point to Kansas, had a who's who offer list coming out of Vermont Academy.
Verbal to Arizona as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So he was recruited by everyone. Prep school player of the year in New England, which is, the hotbed of prep schools up there when he was at Vermont Academy. And like you said, it's bounced around a little bit, looking for a place where he can finally live up to some of that acclaim.
You also like that he reunites with Yusuf Ali, who coached him at Arizona State his freshman season when he had an outstanding year, so you get some comfort level back with a guy that Joson knows he can trust in Yusuf. Yusuf knows his game extremely well. That's a heck of an addition from a talent standpoint that I think fans are really going to like watching.
So you've got guys now, and you've also got one spot left, right? Do you keep that in your hip pocket?
No, you'll have somebody there, but I think basically the guys that are now announced and on the roster, that's your rotation. Yeah, that's you got to assume Buchanan gets that year back and that he's eligible. But other than that, you can add another player, but I think your rotation guys and the guys we're going to see play are now in the fold and ready to go here June 1st.
And I know, 5-4-3-2-1 in terms of positional grouping, it doesn't matter as much anymore. But give me a little bit of look as to where these guys are. You said 3-4, 4-5 for Traore. How do some of these guys fit together?
And Sanon's really a 2, but you can play him in a 3-guard offense because he's 6'5", so he can guard up a size if he needs to. So I just think you've got a lot of interchangeable parts. Mosila's going to sit at the 5, and Sadler's going to sit at the 1. Outside of that, you're just kind of mixing and moving guys in. Buchanan probably assumes the 4 position, right? He's on paper your biggest at 6'7". Will have a game that fits more of the 4 position. And then I think those other guys are just moving in and out. Somerville will play both guard positions. Bizjack can play both guard positions and did this past year for Xavier. So when Miles needs a breather or is in foul trouble, you've got a couple different options there for a backup 1. And you've got multiple guys now at the 2, from Somerville to Bizjack to Traore, to Sanon. So you've got a lot of interchangeable parts there, which I do think, and I know there's plenty of time to talk about this, but I'll just give a little bit now. I do think it gives you some really good switching options on defense too, especially in that like 2 through 4 positions. You can really just start switching defensively, which is going to cause a whole host of problems, number one. And number two, if you're playing a team that has a 5 that can't step out and shoot, I think you're going to have real problems here because you just set Scylla right in that lane and say, okay, boys, come on into this and watch the shots get blocked inside.
3 other true freshmen besides Sadler in this, and they're certainly more developmental than is Miles, but do they see anytime you don't redshirt anymore? Or at least we don't assume that the red shirts are going to be options in the future. So do you get them a few minutes a game, or are they so developmental it's going to take them a while?
Yeah, I think some of that just depends on what you see when they get here. You're going to have to watch them, right? If you're Alou Diem, you want to add a little strength, which he will do over the summer, but skill set and athleticism-wise, I think he has a high upside. Now, whether that upside's ready to be enacted right away against Niagara, that's one thing, or against Kansas is another. So you're going to watch. Cena, I think, is one to look at because he's certainly more project-y, but man, he is just a big dude and surprisingly has played a lot of high-level basketball over his time. So he's a guy I almost think you're going to have to get in the lineup at times when Mo Silla is in foul trouble or needs a break. You need a backup big. He's the most obvious candidate there. So I think you see him a little bit. And then Keontae Graybear in the backcourt. It's kind of a crowded backcourt now, as you see. So we'll have to see what his ability is to get in and make a change there in the lineup and force some minutes upon Ross there.
You mentioned the international experience of Seydou. I mean, he had 3 games in the World Cup U19 when he had 20-plus rebounds. Again, I mean, that's international competition. Now, it wasn't the top level teams, but it was still good teams. Israel and Australia, I think, were in there. So, I mean, you pull down 20 rebounds in international games 3 different times. Tells me he can go get it a little bit. Now he's 7 foot. There's 7'1", so he's got an advantage of being able to do that.
But I think that's the luxury you have on this team. You're not going to ask him to come in and score 15 a game.
No.
You're going to need him to spell Scylla, and if that comes in and you get 2 blocks and you alter a shot and get 4 rebounds and commit 3 fouls, okay, that's probably a pretty good day for you, right? Cause some havoc down low and see if you can steal some minutes while Mo's over on the bench.
Text line is open, 304-TALK-304. We will get to the text a little bit later on. We're scheduled to be joined by Chansen Cole of the Mountaineer baseball team, the Big 12 newcomer of the week. We'll talk about the sweep of Kansas State, look ahead to a very big week coming up. This is the CityNet statewide sports line. We're inside the Health Plan Studios. Since 1979, the Health Plan has called West Virginia home. From humble beginnings, they've grown alongside West Virginia, becoming a part of its fabric. For over 4 decades, they've been here through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses, proudly serving West Virginia for over 40 years. The Health Plan.
We are there for you, to care for you at the Health Plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The Health Plan. We are here for you.
Days, evenings, weekends, and holidays. You can't predict when you'll get sick or hurt. But WVU Medicine Urgent Care is prepared to help when you do. Our team treats minor illnesses and injuries and performs services like on-site lab and imaging, vaccinations, and sports physicals. WVU Medicine is ready to assist you and your family when life happens. To find the closest location near you, visit wvumedicine.org/urgent care.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line
Returns in 2 minutes.
on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Nasal obstruction, stuffiness, blockage. Is it allergy? Is it sinus? A lot of times it may be both. The WVU Medicine Sinus and Allergy Center is a clinic where we house all specialties that take care of allergies and sinuses together. You name it, we have it. It's one-stop shopping. Anything ENT that needs done for the citizens of West Virginia, we can provide that care.
Longer days, warmer drives, and better deals at Dan Cava GMC. Hit the road in one of our new luxury GMC Acadias. All this and more at Dan Cava GMC in Bridgeport. Shop the road.
Download MetroNews Television on your iPhone or Android. Search MetroNews Television in your app store. Create an account today to get alerts and watch all live and archived content. Download now.
In 1914, the same year the first commercial flight soared and the Panama Canal opened, Greer Industries was born. Herbert and Agnes Greer began in Morgantown, West Virginia, striking the first pick into the limestone formation that would become the backbone of one of the state's great industrial legacies. From the roads we drive on, the buildings we build, and the communities we serve, Greer Industries has been delivering quality for decades. At Greer Industries, we've been improving lives for more than a century.
Leading the efforts to build a stronger West Virginia, the High Technology Foundation has a proven plan to strengthen and diversify our state's economy. The I-79 Technology Park's high-capacity infrastructure continues to attract advanced federal operations that are driving economic growth. This keeps our young, educated residents in the state and brings West Virginians home. The High Technology Foundation, building a stronger West Virginia. Learn more today at wvhtf.org.
Sitting at Statewide Sportsline for a Monday. Thanks for joining us. We'll check the texts here in a bit. Kyle Wiggs, Greg Hunter, Brad Howe with you. We're privileged to be joined by the Big 12 newcomer of the week, pitcher Chansen Cole, coming off his complete game victory over Kansas State on Saturday. Chansen, good evening. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's start with this one. How did that feel coming off that performance with the way you pitched? Obviously, the adrenaline's flowing. You're having great success. But finishing off a game like that, how does the arm feel? How did you feel physically after that one?
Physically, I felt good. After the Texas Tech outing a few weeks ago, I got pulled in the ninth. So ever since that outing, I kind of wanted to get a complete game under my belt. And then I had the opportunity against K-State this past weekend, so it was definitely something I wanted to get done, and I'm glad I got it done.
So I'm always interested. What's the interaction with the coaches? So when you're talking to Steve Saban's coming down the stretch and you want to get the complete game, do you have to beg him? Is there politicking going on? What's going on in that regard?
No, he's asking after every inning how my body's feeling, how my arm's feeling, and it was after the eighth inning he came up and asked just kind of how I was feeling and if I wanted to finish it, and of course it was a no-brainer in my mind. So I went out there and you know, it's probably a situation to where if there's 2 or 3 runners get on base, you know you're probably coming out of the game. So you're not trying to think about that, but you definitely want to get as many batters out as quick as you can.
Well, you handled that well. Just don't let him get on base and he'll come out of the game. So you approach that perfectly. What a boost you guys got this weekend with Max Yale returning. So I've got to imagine, and again, listen, everything was working this weekend. You were hitting, the pitching was great. But to have Yale come out and throw like he did when he came back, backed up by Korn to get that save, that had to give you a big boost going into Saturday, knowing you already had the one game in the bag there.
Yeah, for sure. Max he's a great leader for our team, and everybody on the team knows that we're better with him. And, it was great to have him back. And then Korn, I mean, every time he's out, you know what you're going to get out of him. So it was definitely a great series from the team standpoint. And, we're looking forward to this weekend.
You're on quite a roll here, going all the way back to the Cincinnati weekend. You, on Saturday, of course, Friday night, everybody knows it was an extra innings and the rain came, so you had to pick that game up on Saturday. You finish that one off, get the win, then start the regularly scheduled Saturday game. You had a great outing, as you mentioned, against Texas Tech, taking that one into the ninth, and then the complete game victory. So What's it been? It's warming up for you a little bit. I would imagine that helps. You're deep into the season. What's the difference now in your performance compared to maybe early on in the year?
Yeah, I think just the experience you get every outing. I mean, that experience is a teacher like no other, and having the confidence, under my belt to go out there and do it against good Big 12 teams, I think it kind of gives you confidence from the mental standpoint that, you can go out there and do what you can do.
Chansen, we've had this conversation with a number of other Mountaineers in recent years about guys who've moved up, transferred from a lower level up to West Virginia in Big 12 baseball and obviously very high-level D1 baseball. What have you found? Have you found it to be maybe easier in your perception, harder? Or what have you thought about the leap?
Obviously, the competition is a lot better. I mean, everybody on every rosters are a lot deeper. Everybody belongs at this level. But the resources that we have here, there wasn't anything close to what we have here at Newberry last year. So I would say from a development standpoint, I would say being at this level, you have more tools to get better. But the competition is definitely tougher, and I mean, you're only going to grow from playing better competition. And then when you look around our locker room, we have some of the best players in the country sitting right beside us. So when you're competing with them every day in practice, you have no other option but to get better.
Well, you're certainly one of those guys. As you're 8-1 with a sub 3-point ERA, so you talk about showing you belong at this level, you certainly do. So along those lines of all the resources and the things that come with being a player at WVU, what's the one thing? Have you stopped at any moment and said, well, this is pretty cool, I get to do this, or we have this? What would that one thing be?
Yeah, I mean, the new biomechanics lab we're in there every day doing different stuff, and it's gotten to the point now to where you just you walk in there and you get your work done and you leave. But there's definitely those times where you're sitting in there and maybe you're throwing med balls or throwing a bullpen in there, and you kind of have to take a step back and look at the facility you're in, and it's definitely a wow moment with all of the technology that's around you. So I would definitely say the new pitching lab for sure.
I got one more on the Kansas State series, and then we'll move on from that, put it to rest. But D. Kennedy comes in hitting .390, 19 home runs, 65 RBI, one of the best players in the league and one of the best players in the country. He goes 0 for 10. Now, it's not like you guys pitched around him. He did walk 3 times, but he struck out 7 times. So going in, when you sit down as a staff, what's the scouting report there, and what was the approach going in, and what worked against that guy?
Yeah, we knew what kind of player he was coming into it. So when you face a guy like that, the approach is just, even when you find yourself down 2-0, 3-0, you can't take a pitch off. I mean, you have to throw your best stuff all the time to that guy. There's definitely guys in some lineups where you can, if you find yourself down 2-0 or 3-0, you can kind of throw something in the zone that they can handle. But with a guy like that guy, you can't throw a pitch that he can hit. You gotta throw your best stuff all the time, and that's what we did all weekend to him.
So, Chansen, if memory serves, you haven't participated in any of the midweek games. Maybe you have, but some of these big rivalry games that have been midweek games, Penn State, Pitt, some that have had big crowds and big moments. Now Marshall tomorrow. What's your role when you're more spectator than player?
Yeah, it's those games are a little tough because you want to be out there and you want to be playing, but my role during those games is just to be the best teammate I can be, whether that's, cheering on the guys or going and grabbing somebody a drink of water, whatever it is. I'm just trying to help in any way possible. And unfortunately, during the midweek games, it can't be on the mound. So just finding ways to help in whatever I can. But the midweek games are definitely fun to watch, especially the rivalries like we got coming up tomorrow.
Let's go back to this discussion about moving from Division II to Division I. And we've said for a long time on the show, there's great baseball players at every level around, and I personally think it's the most transferable skill. If you're doing it, and especially a pitcher, you're throwing what you throw. That translates at any level to what it is. Was that the biggest pitch from West Virginia to you about the past recent success of Division II guys moving up, especially pitchers?
Yeah, definitely. I actually, during the Clemson Regional last year, I drove up, not living too far from Clemson. I watched the opening game against Kentucky. So I was kind of researching West Virginia's roster, and Griffin Kern, who pitched that same day, I found out he came from a Division II the year before. So when you hear about guys that are actually playing big roles on the team that came from Division II schools, it definitely makes the decision a little bit easier.
So were they on you at that point in terms of coming here?
Yeah, I think they reached out maybe a week before the regional.
And you had a chance to go up and see him. So last year at Newberry, you pitched a total of 87 innings, and you're approaching that mark here, 64 2/3. Hopefully you go deep into the postseason. You got 4 or 5 starts left. So how do you prepare your body and your arm for that, going, with that innings total getting up there?
Yeah, I think every day you get after a start, it's important to do whatever you can to make sure your body and arms in the best spot. And a lot of it is mentally resetting and preparing for your next outing too. So, I'm just using every day to get a little bit better and figure out what might have went well and what didn't go well in the previous start, and then just making the adjustments I need to make going into the next start.
You mentioned the facilities that West Virginia has, and that they don't have many, even D1s, but certainly D2s. Do you guys compare and really maybe pour mouth a little bit of yourself? There are 2 lower-level student athletes on this panel amongst the 3 of us, and I can tell you we got a boxed lunch on the bus on the way out that had a wrapped sandwich, a bag of chips, an apple, and a Coke that had never seen a refrigerator in its life.
I think you got more than I did.
Yeah.
You were doing better.
Do you
Chansen's living big right now.
Do you guys compare what life used to be like for you all?
Oh, yeah. So we actually, me and Dawson Montesa, another Division II transfer, we'll kind of joke around. Before most games, we'll always get a sandwich and a smoothie from Smoothie King or Tropical Smoothie somewhere. And there's some games where we won't get the smoothie, and we're sitting out there in BP shagging, and we'll be like, I can't believe we didn't get a smoothie today. And us last year, we're just fortunate if we can get a peanut butter and jelly to eat before the game, So it's pretty awesome what you get here.
Yeah, I was going to say a smoothie and a sandwich would be my whole weekend meal for the series. That's all we'd get. All right, we're asking everybody, every baseball guy we've had on, I've asked this question. The new throwback uniforms, scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate them?
A 10.
Yeah.
A 10 for sure. Those things are sweet.
Yeah, you're talking to 3 old guys that lived through that era where those uniforms were prevalent. So I agree with you that the logo's great, the uniforms looked great, and it's nice on turf, right? You don't get them all, it's nice to get dirty because that means you had a game, but it's nice that those white uniforms stay pristine, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is.
Well, Chansen, we appreciate your time, and again, you've got it going. This whole team got things turned around this weekend, and it was great to watch. Big weekend, big week coming up. Marshall, and then the 3 with Kansas. So as you said, you're not gonna pitch tomorrow against Marshall. Your next start's this weekend at Kansas. Have you looked ahead a little bit at them? Can you let us in a little bit on the scouting report, what you've seen?
No, we haven't looked at Kansas yet. We're just worried about Marshall tomorrow. We have a saying here that every game we play is as big as the previous one. So we're just looking to get a win tomorrow against Marshall.
Okay, good answer.
Well done.
Yeah, great answer.
Well done.
Again, we appreciate it. Congratulations on your award today, Big 12 Newcomer of the Week. And again, we really appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank y'all for having me on. I appreciate it.
Chansen Cole there, WVU baseball, and he'll get one of the 3 starts at Kansas this weekend.
Boy, and he's dealing, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, you go back to Griffin Kern, but you go back before that. The hit rate for this staff has been unbelievable with the Division II guys. Pitchers in particular, but add in a Kyle West, add in Paul Schoenfeld at center this year. They have, I'm not sure they haven't hit on one of these guys. Just a tremendous job of identifying talent and getting them in the program.
West Virginia at Marshall tomorrow night. That's a 6 p.m. first pitch. And again, like we said, they had over 9, at least the number in the box score they listed was over 9,000 for that game last year at Gomart Ballpark. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Southern West Virginia Mountaineer fans getting a chance to see this nationally ranked baseball team in person tomorrow night. We'll take a break. We'll check the text line coming up, 304 Talk 304. You've heard the buzz about CityNet Fiber expanding across West Virginia. Now you can check your address, choose the plan that fits your needs, and even pick your preferred installation window. Visit citynet.net. Remember, CityNet connects, protects, and perfects.
Running a small business means wearing a lot of hats, and dealing with tech problems shouldn't be one of them. CityNet helps West Virginia businesses keep their technology running smoothly, from networks and computers to backup, security, and day-to-day support. Whether you don't have IT staff or you have a small team that could use extra help, CityNet can take care of the technology or work alongside your team to fill in the gaps. With proactive monitoring, fast local support, and solutions built on CityNet's fiber network, your business stays productive instead of reactive. Call us at 1-844-CityNet to get started.
If a fire occurred in your home, would your smoke alarms work? Don't wait for a tragedy to find out. Smoke alarms are designed to give you and your family the precious seconds you need to safely escape. Test your smoke alarms every month by pressing the test button until the alarm sounds. Depending on the type of battery in your smoke alarm, you may need to change the batteries at least once a year or whenever the low battery warning chirps, and never remove the batteries for any reason. Remember, having working smoke alarms is not only a good idea, it's the law. A message from the West Virginia State Fire Marshal's Office.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide sports line returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
Today's MetroNews television forecast is brought to you by Lou Wendell Marine Sales. We sell family fun.
Hello, we have some warmth into Tuesday, then a wet period Tuesday night into Thursday with a slow-moving cold front bringing moderate to heavy rainfall and a cooling trend in temperatures. Precipitation, we look east where we should stay generally between 1/4 and 1/2 inch, but much of West Virginia will be seeing between 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Localized amounts could surpass 1 inch, including Charleston, in part due to the potential for some excessive rainfall, a marginal risk for really the southern half of the state Wednesday and Wednesday night. So it's a slow-moving front. Tuesday morning, it's still well to our west, but by Wednesday morning, the cold front starts to arrive, and it'll sweep the state through the day on Wednesday. So today's earlier round of storms taper off by 7 p.m. Then this evening and overnight, we look north for any additional rumbles of thunder. Meanwhile, pretty quiet to start the day Tuesday, increasing clouds. By Tuesday evening and overnight, we see widespread showers and thunderstorms arriving ahead of that cold front. FlyStarW forecast, it starts at home. D.C. will see 85 on Tuesday, falling to 61 by Thursday. Meanwhile, Chicago, it's cooler on Tuesday, and Orlando, 95-degree heat by Thursday. Panhandle forecast, temperatures staying near 60, looking north overnight, then 74 to 78 here on Tuesday. Rather commonly seeing temperatures hover in the mid-50s, looking east toward Charlestown, but here we have a better chance of managing, say, 82, 83 degrees on Tuesday. Across the state, just a mild overnight period, 54 Elkins, 58 Sutton, then highs here in the mid-70s to near 80 on Tuesday, and ending looking south, the cooler pockets do dip below the 50-degree mark, like Lewisburg overnight, but still managing mid-70s and the warm spots near 80 on Tuesday. Wet, as mentioned, Tuesday night into Thursday, cooling through there, quiet Friday, additional rain possible Saturday.
CityNet statewide sports line inside the Health Plan Studios, 304 Talk 304. We've got time for some texts. Let's do that now. Mark in Greenbrier County says the Gavin Kelly 3 Guys interview is excellent. That guy is focused.
Yeah, he's dialed in.
Give us some highlights there.
Yeah, it's just fun to talk to him. I just thought he was so interesting because of the catching and the second base. That is just not a traditional position switch that you get. And that dude can do either one effortlessly, right? There, you put him out at second, he's making plays all over the field. You put him behind the dish, he's really good. I think the biggest thing to him was about the mental approach to hitting this year. You know, he's up 100 points in his batting average as he's turned from a freshman to a sophomore, hitting 389 this year, so near 400 in one of the best leagues in America, has more walks than he has strikeouts. His slugging percentage is outrageous. Just having a great year, and he just talked a lot about the mental approach and the difference in last year, just trying to make contact and not strike out, and more this year, he's got the confidence to walk in and go deeper into counts, doesn't get nervous if he's got 2 strikes on him. He's got the confidence to say, I'm the stud in this situation. Come on and bring your pitches to me. Some of those are my words, I realize, but he talked about the confidence of knowing he's a really good player now when he steps into the box.
And they've got a lot of good offensive threats on that lineup, but the combination of him and Schoenfeld back-to-back together really drives that thing.
304 Talk 304, the Gavin Kelly interview, by the way, available 3 guys before the game. WVMetroNews.com, Metro News TV, and we'll dig into that a little bit and have some cuts from that tomorrow on the show. Texter asks, has the WVU basketball NIL budget increased this year compared to last year?
Yeah, it has, and I don't have an exact number for you, but yes, it's increased because it had to, guys. I mean, the year-over-year cost, Evan Miyakawa, who we've had on this program before, estimated that the costs were up 65 to 70% this year for the same type of player, and he's a guy that does the data analytics for national all over the country, every player in the country. Sets up 65 to 70% just from last year. So yes, that number did go up, and I said that during 3 Guys today. I give a lot of credit not only to Wren and the administration for putting this in place. Don Robinson, Golden Blue Enterprises has been significant, and the donors, quite frankly, that have contributed to this, and the businesses that have contributed to the above-the-cap NIL to get you to a point where you can move those resources forward. And Wren has said that for a couple of years, guys. He said in all sports, West Virginia was going to be in a position to compete for league titles in this across the board in the different sports. We saw it in baseball and the other sports with the increased scholarship limits. We've seen it in football and basketball doing what they've had to do to raise the floor on both of the NIL situations for those sports. We've seen it in women's basketball. So that was no doubt the case again this year, as they've really amassed some talent. But certainly, it was a different cost point than it was last year.
And we don't know the exact NIL figures or rev share figures for each of those individuals, because truthfully, they keep those behind a wall. So a little bit of that or some of that's not public, but I do think when this whole world began, a lot of us worried West Virginia would not have the resources to compete at the highest level. And there's still going to be schools that spend more than West Virginia and have more than West Virginia. But when you can get Scylla and Sadler especially, you're going to the big market for those guys. So it shows.
Add Sanon into that.
Yeah.
Everybody was on him this offseason too. So I'd really put 3 in there that were elite guys, and West Virginia's right in there and able to get the guys they targeted and they came out of there with. Yeah, I agree with you, Greg.
Texter asks how deep the bench is. Well, right now you've got 7 to 8.
Yeah. And then you start mixing in some other guys. But remember, if you're Ross Hodge, he got into it this year, and that bench got shortened up to about 7 guys once you got in the Big 12. So you're not going to look to play 9 guys. You might in the non-conferences. You're trying to get a handle on exactly what you have. But when you get into the nuts and bolts of this conference schedule, it's going to be 7 guys that play. So you don't necessarily worry about trying to get 10, 11, 12 guys. You're going to fill your roster out, but you're looking for a rotation of 9 max in the early conference. As that starts to get closer to January, it's going to shrink down into the 8, and by the time you're in conference play, you're probably looking for 7 guys.
That's if you stay healthy. You got to hope for the best.
Correct.
But
I'm talking about guys that are going to play.
Yeah.
You're going to be 9 sliding into closer to 7 that are in your minutes rotation as you get into Big 12 play.
Texter asks, is Amir still here? Amir Jenkins. Yes, he is on the team, but recovering from injuries.
Yeah, had 1 surgery, and then we'll have the work on the second shoulder. Both shoulders need work done on him. So, yeah, we'll have to see where he is once practice begins. You certainly won't have him for the early part of the summer, maybe even late summer, and then we'll just have to keep seeing where he is as you get towards the next season. But he's got some significant challenges here to get over.
He is interesting because, I think initially when Ross was talking about this at the end of the season at the Crown Point, he's like, okay, he's probably going to have to take a medical red shirt. Well, again, medical red shirts may not be a thing. So, you get into January and February and he can help you a little bit.
It's an interesting point.
You may turn him loose at that juncture, even though he's not going to be probably healthy enough to go until maybe midpoint of the season.
Interesting point there.
Texter says, I believe the Marshall game is already a sellout. That is true. There's no doubt. But like I said, I printed out the box score here. The capacity for that ballpark's around 5,000 seats, but they put them in there, man. The listed attendance on the box score last year, 9,639. So if people show up, they're gonna have a lot of people standing. Which, again, that adds to the excitement.
Good.
Yeah,
It's fun.
We need to get Ren to start to count the people that stand up on top of the hill by the Med Center up there at Kendrick Family Ballpark.
You can go a couple deep at times.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be 1,000 or 2 plus up there.
Texter says, looking forward to seeing the Cardinals and the Reds, I assume in Cincinnati. My son got tickets for my birthday. Good to see a couple of Mountaineers. Yeah, that'll be fun. Enjoy that. I believe that's towards the end of the month. I know the Cardinals have the Brewers this week. They go west and play San Diego and the A's. Then they're back home. Kansas City's in there. And then there's a couple of division series. The Pirates go out there, and then they go to Cincinnati. So, yeah, enjoy that.
That's crazy. Pirates just got the Reds here recently, didn't they? Who's in first place now in the Central?
Would that be the Cubs?
Yeah, that is the Cubs, Kyle. It is the Cubs have moved into first place there. Thank you.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
They had that crazy 9-game winning streak. The Cardinals beat the Dodgers 2 out of 3 after sweeping the Pirates. So now 6 out of 7.
JJ did not catch Enos Slaughter.
No, he did not.
Yeah,
I watched Friday.
Yeah,
was waiting to try to get JJ in the same collective breath as Enos Slaughter, but it didn't happen.
So 6 consecutive games of extra base hits for JJ Weatherholt. Not too shabby for a rookie.
No, another record that he set was he got hit by pitch 6 straight times. So that was a Cardinals team record. Let's see, 304, Talk 304. Texter says, hey guys, we all know money is important, but let's hope West Virginia's advantage moving forward is everything else. Facilities, coaches. People want to play for Rich Rodriguez. It's been proven in a short period of time that people want to play for Ross Hodge too.
Yeah, there's no question. It's hard, and I get it. The frustration where you see guys have success and come back. And Greg, we talked last night on Sunday Sportsline, and you pointed out how many of these guys do have eligibility remaining. So we'll see. You certainly hope to, and you would love to have these guys back just as you did this year. It just comes down to, at times, sometimes the market changes on guys, and you have to make business decisions that they don't fit into your plans. Again, I think West Virginia's done an unbelievable job in NIL, but it comes a point when you can't just spend, and you have to make some decisions. And so we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it next year. I'm just glad right now you've got this roster put together. It looks like a really good one on paper. If you get these guys to gel, and that's always the X factor in lineups, right? If you guys get these guys to gel and you get some motivated guys, and again, I think this staff is really good at helping that process along, I think there's a chance for this to be a really fun team. You've got some high-end talent.
They'll all be together 1st of June? Is that pretty much when it starts?
Yeah, as far as I know, everybody will be in right around the 1st of June. Miles told us on 3 guys that he's getting in there like right then, so he'll be here like the first day of practice or so when classes start. But they'll all be in, guys, and we'll be full practice. I'll be giving you practice reports here in 3 weeks.
How about that? Hopefully the baseball team will still be playing. We could have a regional, a super regional, and basketball practice.
And football going on, too. We'll have everything going.
Texter says, a guy I trust says Sanon could go well or poorly in that system. So, again, we'll see how he fits in.
I think that's every player in every system in the country.
We'll check the text line again, 304 Talk 304. When we return, final break. Stay with us. We're back in the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline continues after this.
This boating season, elevate your family time with Lou Wendell Marine Sales. Proudly family-owned for over 40 years, Lou and his sons are West Virginia's largest Avalon pontoon dealer. Trusted experts in premium boats, motors, and service. Discover refined comfort, elegant design, and performance you can feel. Now is the perfect time to take advantage of preseason savings. At Lou Wendell Marine Sales, they don't just sell boats. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com because the weekend's almost here.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
For over 4 decades, we've been rooted deep inside West Virginia. Through thick and thin, supporting local families and businesses. Proudly serving your neighborhood since 1979. Your trusted partner in the community.
The health plan, we are here for you.
I'm Sergeant R.A. Marsh.
And this is Trooper Goodman with the West Virginia State Police.
When working traffic across West Virginia, responding to crashes involving death or injury is the toughest part of our job.
Around here, we're experts at survival, so we know the importance of buckling up.
When you don't buckle up,
you increase your risk of dying in a crash.
Why do we enforce seatbelt laws?
It's not about writing tickets, it's about saving lives.
Come on, West Virginia, we can do this. Please, always buckle up.
A message from the West Virginia Governor's Highway Safety Program.
Live from the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet Statewide Sportsline returns in 2 minutes on MetroNews, the voice of West Virginia.
You own a boat because you love spending time on the water. Choose the outboard that allows you to make the most of it. Honda Marine's legendary reliability, ease of maintenance, and powerful performance keep you going strong. And they're all backed by the peace of mind protection of the industry's best limited warranty. Visit your Honda Marine dealer today and find out why it's more than an engine. It's your time on the water.
What do you know about hot dogs? Because we've been all about hot dogs this week.
I love hot dogs, and I love them with Miracle Whip.
Oh, God, I forgot. Never mind.
And onions.
Okay.
I actually, yesterday morning, I had a hot dog for breakfast at 6:45 with onions and Miracle Whip.
And with that, we'll be back right after this.
Join Dave Allen weekdays for midday on Metro News Television.
You know CityNet is West Virginia's leading technology company. Whether we're managing IT infrastructures, protecting the critical data and networks of our region's businesses, or providing fiber broadband, TV, and phone services, we are your go-to experts. We're also a strong partner in the communities in which we serve. CityNet, your trusted technology partner. Learn more about us, visit citynet.net.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
The Health Plan proudly supports our active and healthy communities and has been your most trusted carrier for over 40 years. Log on to healthplan.org for more information.
We are there for you, to care for you at the health plan. We are here for you.
CityNet Statewide Sportsline. Final few minutes here. A few texts to catch up about. 304 Talk 304. Follow up on the NIL question with regard to the text about basketball NIL. It may be true that there's not an abundance of people with deep pockets in the state of West Virginia to support athletics, but there are a lot of people with money, with WVU ties, and they are all around the country who will support the team. So that could be. You get smaller donations that add up compared to the big-time guys.
There's been people in this state that have stepped up, too. I mean, as we know, the Mountaineer support is tremendous in-state and out-of-state, and it's certainly taken a group effort. I've said this many times, guys. I arrived in 96, my first year working in the athletic department. Our budget was $17 million. That thing's going to be close to $150 this year. It is remarkable that West Virginia as an institution and a fan base has stepped up and answered every challenge. How How long have we said, the money is getting big? Can West Virginia compete? And West Virginia answers that bell every time. And again, that's fan base and institutionally, but they have done it, and they've done it again as this has switched going into this year.
Texter says, my kid took me to PNC Park for my birthday, watched JJ tie the game last Monday with a blast to right center field. Scream, let's go, but not one Mountaineer reply. A bunch of ticked-off Yinzers.
Oh, he was there the same day
We were there. Well, he was in the wrong place because there was a whole row of Weatherholt jerseys down there. Were a bunch of Mountaineer fans down behind the dugout.
Yeah,
Former Mountaineer.
He wasn't seated in the Mountaineer section, apparently, that was there.
The whole baseball team and coaching staff was up there.
Yeah, that was, it seems like longer, but that was 1 week ago tonight.
It does seem longer ago. That was a fun night.
Lots happened since then. 304-TALK-304, that's the text line. You can go to the website, wvmetronews.com. We've got new polls for high school baseball and softball. It's a media poll for baseball. So you've got us media knuckleheads that work for Metro News voting in the baseball poll. Morgantown stays number 1 in Quad A with GW number 2, Jefferson and Hurricane. Bridgeport, unanimous number 1. We had Robert Shields on Friday, going for win number 999 tonight. How about that? 999 tonight.
It is remarkable.
So Bridgeport.
So this week the 1,000 is in play for.
Yes, it is in play. They play. I think they play every night. I know Morgantown plays every day.
Yeah.
I think Bridgeport plays every day this week too. So you're right. That is in play. But Bridgeport number 1 in AAA unanimous. Wheeling Central unanimous number 1 in AA. Huntington St. Joe's unanimous number 1 in Single A. I have a feeling not all of those teams are going to win state championships. So that's why they play the games, right?
Yep. That's why they play the games.
With the expanded tournament, a lot can happen. The updated softball coaches poll is at the website as well, wvmetronews.com. All right, tomorrow night, Greg and I will be back. The WVU Marshall game gets underway at 6 o'clock, so we'll discuss that in depth. Maybe we'll hear a bit from Gavin Kelly, and we'll check in on Coach Robert Shields' quest for 1,000. Joe Bricado is going to be at that game tomorrow night, so we'll check in with him as well.
Excellent.
Thanks for listening and watching tonight. That's the Sports Line. Join us again tomorrow night.
From the Health Plan Studios, the CityNet statewide Sports Line is an exclusive production of the Metro News Radio Network. All rights reserved.